Yo, let's dive into the drama of 2018. Word on the street was that government rules were shifting, and out of nowhere, the Chinese regulators slammed the brakes on new game approvals. The CCP went all preachy, saying video games were turning kids into addicts and they had serious beef with the violent stuff. They even called online games spiritual opium.
Follow up on a story from yesterday, how China is cracking down on children playing online video games. It's part of a larger concern in China about the impact of too much game playing.
In China, video games aren't just a pastime. They're a way of life for many youth. It's game over after Beijing announced a draconian crackdown on this kind of youth gaming culture. No playing video games at all from Monday to Thursday. Play is limited to 1 hour a day between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. No industry can be allowed to destroy a generation. That generation find themselves here at a digital detox facility to fight addictions. Here, young men and women live structured boot camp style days with counseling and group therapy. But they're not alone. Their parents live here too. This man told CBS News his son spent 8 to 9 hours online each day. This boy, unrelated, told us he fell in with bad people before being sent here. Taoran is the man behind this rehab. He says 85% of minors have some kind of internet addiction. Tencent is the creator of Honor of Kings, the most profitable video games on the planet right now. Losing $60 billion in market cap, media describe China's gaming culture as electronic drugs and spiritual opium. Many would say policing the country's future generation is more important than any company or any family.
Oh, and hold up. Kids under 18 couldn't game for more than 3 hours a week. That hit Tencent like a punch to the gut, and their stock, down the drain. Check this out.
So the tech companies have reported their results over the past week. We got Tencent yesterday, and Tencent's results were a little bit disappointing. They're having a few soft issues in the business. It was not a disaster, but it was a little bit slower than expected. Their games business is kind of soft, so it's not clear exactly whether the Chinese consumers are going to show up to be able to help drive the economy and pull it out of this troubled period that it's in right now.
Later that year, Tencent's profits took a nosedive for the first time in a decade. Why? Because they couldn't drop or cash in on new games thanks to the government's new rules. So what's a juggernaut like Tencent to do? They had to cozy up to the government, make some big moves. They started using facial recognition in games, peeking into police databases to check if players were the real deal and the right age for the game. They had to keep it G-rated for real. And hold on to your hats because Tencent had to flip the script on their games too. Picture this. PlayerUnknown Battleground, a game where 100 folks are duking it out. But the CCP wasn't digging it, so Tencent waved a magic wand and rebranded it as Game for Peace. It turned from a battle royale into a patriotic showdown. Guns. Nah, now it's a green liquid, and when you catch a bullet, you wave goodbye and vanish into thin air. Oh, and the whole game was dressed in nationalist slogans and propaganda. You thought you were playing, but they were schooling you in patriotism. And that's the tip of the iceberg, homies. While most weren't feeling this switcheroo, they had to roll with it. Tencent, the big kahuna, realized that even with all their might, they were still dancing to the government's tune. But here comes the knockout punch. In 2020, Jack Ma's company Ant Group was ready to break the bank with its IPO. It was like a done deal. But then, Jack took the mic and started throwing shade at the Chinese government, their financial system, the whole shebang. Boom, you know what happened? That IPO was like Cinderella's pumpkin poof, gone. The Chinese president himself gave it the thumbs down. Not stopping there, Alibaba, Jack's other gig, got hit with an antitrust investigation like they were Monopoly players caught cheating. And Jack Ma? Man went MIA. Public appearances canceled, gone like a ghost. Rumors flew. Was he still breathing? But that ain't all, folks. This wasn't just about Jack Ma, it was open season on all big tech guns. In 2021, other tech giants got slapped with colossal fines and China was like, oh, so y'all want to be kings? The CCP flipped the script, reining in those power players. Now you're probably thinking, was Jack's jab at the government the last straw? Maybe, but truth is, China had been peeping the power these tech titans were stacking up for a while. The rich got richer and the rest got the crumbs. The government wanted equality and a tighter grip on all that data floating around. You know, the whole who's really in charge thing. And you know what they say, when you mess with one domino, the whole row falls. Tencent, once the untouchable titan, was caught in the crossfire. They got hit with fines, anti-monopoly investigations, the whole shebang. Their games hit a roadblock, deals got blocked. It was like getting hit with a haymaker. And why? Maybe because they let their app streets get a bit too wild. See, when protests popped, Tencent's apps like WeChat were spreading the word. Censors were doing their thing, but a billion voices can't be silenced that easy. And the government? They weren't vibing with Tencent's dominance. But here's the kicker. These regulations, they weren't just for Tencent. Big tech was getting the heavyweight treatment. Their stock prices went on a roller coaster ride, and Tencent, over 500 billion smackers wiped off their market cap. Yep, that's over half their value, my friends. Crazy, right? Even though Tencent played nice with regulators, they still caught the heat. Pony Ma, the brains behind Tencent, probably ain't sleeping easy these days. He used to be the master of the game, spotting trends early. Desktop, mobile, he had it down. But what's next? The metaverse? Could be, but it's like a tightrope walk between global and CCP approval. Staying on China's good side? Non-negotiable. Tencent's got to roll with the government's punches, whether they like it or not. But mark my words, Tencent's legacy ain't fading anytime soon. They're still a heavyweight, still pulling strings. The game's changed, but they're still in it. Now let's wrap this up, fam. I hope you like the way I've been putting it down. My colleague is out on vacation, and you will be getting me until he returns. Let's get back to business. We've seen Tencent ride the roller coaster of tech dominance and government crackdowns. Layoffs hit, Pony got vocal about his team's work ethic. It's been a wild ride, but let's be real, Tencent's no pushover. They're sitting on stacks of cash, still holding a ton of influence. Their wings may be clipped, but they're still flying high. Look, in 2022, they got a thumbs up for a new game, Health Defense. It's all about health and respect for the government, so you know they're playing it smart. Tencent's dancing close with the CCP now, holding hands to stay out of trouble. They even dropped out of a movie project to keep the peace. But make no mistake, they're still power players, still making moves globally. What's on the horizon for Tencent? That's Pony's million-dollar question. He was ahead of the curve before, and he's probably plotting the next big thing. Metaverse maybe, but it's a tightrope, balancing innovation with government oversight. China ain't giving up control that easy. But don't forget, Tencent's a tale of triumph and turbulence. From copying a chat app to becoming a tech titan, they've seen it all. And don't think for a second this story's over. Across the Pacific, a rising star might just be gearing up to take Tencent's throne. We'll spill the beans soon, but hey, what if the US gets its own Tencent? Would you roll with it? Drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're digging deep, keeping you in the loop. Stay tuned, y'all, and don't forget to do the YouTube-y stuff.